the Anthony Joshua statement. My next fight is scheduled for December. Not ideal, but everything is part of a bigger picture. Now, bizarrely, and this was much discussed in the build-up to Anthony Joshua's fight with Jermaine Franklin, and in the aftermath, as we all let the dust settle, he was going to fight 3 times this year. He was going to stay busy. He was going to have Dillian Whyte in the summer. He was going to go on to fight Tyson Fury late in the year, or Joyce, or Deontay Wilder. But is this a sign, Nathan Heaney, that Matchroom wants him in with a big name rather than another tune-up?
I honestly don't know. Obviously, when it comes to fighting more regularly in the year, there was a lot of stuff in the zone, obviously, with the subscription, the price increase that had happened. So the poster boy for the zone is essentially Anthony Joshua and Canelo Alvarez. So if those boys aren't fighting regularly, granted they're going to be on pay-per-view when it comes to it anyway, I think it's better in the build-up to know that those fights are going to be happening more regular. But then, obviously, post all that happening, now he's obviously fighting in December, but that leaves more space for the other fighters on the roster to obviously have their opportunity on the zone. I haven't got a clue. Could it be for a big name? I don't know. You could have a big name in 3 months' time. I honestly don't know. I don't know the workings behind the scenes in regards to Joshua and Eddie Hearn and the zone. I don't know what the thoughts are, but he's fighting December, and that's it.
One word: business. That's what it is for me.
Yeah.
I think it's just business. And look, there were 2 routes I think they could take him, which is the elongated route, where they could have given him a summer fight, in my view, with a taller, more upright heavyweight. He needs to knock someone out. He needs to get his confidence back. There's a hesitancy about him. Not when he goes into attack. When he's caught, he retreats. And it's very easy to sit in our armchairs and criticise Anthony Joshua. I want to say and underline with any critique that we give of him, the guy's been an astounding character for British and world boxing. He brought stadium fights back. He created a groundswell of popularity for the sport. He's carved opportunities for others. He's made millions already, of tens of millions, maybe over 100 million. They say that he's amassed, and that it makes it difficult for him to slip off the silk pajamas and go into prison, as Marvin Hagler would say. When you go properly into camp, you go into prison. He tried his best to go and do that with Derek James. I think he's underexposed now in terms of what he does, both with the media and the less is more approach. I think they called that last fight the New Dawn. They're looking at new strategies for him. I just think they should put him in with a tall, upright heavyweight next. Franklin was a bit of a banana skin for him. People wouldn't have it from me. I thought he was a difficult opponent. He made himself a small target, didn't he? He was tenacious. This is a guy who a year ago, Nathan, you know about these kind of things. Not that you've worked in a wire wool factory, but this is a guy that was working 72 hours a week in a wire wool factory during COVID to feed his family, who before Dillian Whyte had not had a full training camp ever last year. And he showed against Dillian Whyte last year. He wasn't running away from anyone. He was going to take his opportunities. He looked nerveless in there. Yes, he ran out of gas after 7 rounds and held a lot, but he was in there to win it. And I think Anthony Joshua, could do with a big, tall, upright heavyweight to fight with, someone that he can let his hands go with. I think they're going for a long strategy because of DAZN, because of the business deal. And the old school me says, get in with Fury, have the Fury fight. We talked about Mayweather and Pacquiao. 6 years too late. I was there, I covered it. I broke the story that it was happening way back when. It still made $600 million US. This fight is still worth, or 2 fights between them, if the first one went the distance, is still worth, I don't know, 150 million pounds for 2 fights. I think the 2 men could make 50 million each from the fight. It's the richest fight in boxing, in my view, and the biggest fight we'll ever have seen on these shores. But I have a hunch that Eddie Hearn, by this strategy, they want him to spend 4 or 5 months, 2 non-fighting camps with Derek James, and they just want him to work on his confidence again. But I do think it's a long time out. I think it's a long, long time out, and I'm surprised. But I just see a long game fight.
Yeah. I might not have worked in a Wirewolf factory, but I did work in a cash and carry place that rhymes with Luca, and it was the worst experience in my life. So I know what pain's like. You know what I mean? But no, it's when it comes to Joshua, I mean, he said about obviously stepping back from the media or not being out there as much. I don't disagree with him doing that, to be honest, because
he doesn't need to, does he? Yeah,
there are too many sharks out there. Everyone wants clicks on the videos. Everyone wants it, so they're gonna take his words out of context, put different words in his mouth that probably haven't even said, just because people need clicks. And I can understand why he would be so disengaged with the game in regards to that. It's because that's just what the game is. But yeah, in terms of what you said about having this tall heavyweight obviously come back in the summer and have that big knockout, there's no guarantee he's going to knock some tall lad out. And who is there in the division to obviously give that platform for him? I'm not too sure. So they'll know what they're doing. Like, obviously, he's going to work with Derek James now over the coming months in the build-up to this fight. But I just can't. But again, though, I just can't see what the changes are going to be. What changes can you really make?
No.
It's just the only thing that's a shame, or not a shame, but people are comparing his recent win to wins that he had 5 years ago.
2015, 2018, just to put a point on this for you, because I've got the absolute details in front of me. Between Dillian White fight and the Povetkin fight with Klitschko in the middle, he had 7 stoppages in 8 fights.
Yeah. So, and you would have assumed he would have walked through Franklin during that time period. But like I say, there's lots of different things that go on. Who knows why he's not going through the gears? He might just enjoy the rounds. Who knows? It's one of them. It's one of them.
It is one of those. Just do this final thing for me here, then. Daniel Dubois, does he beat him? Joshua. Does he beat Daniel Dubois?
He's got the potential to. He's got the potential to. I can't say. Like, I think it'd be a massive fight. He's definitely got the potential to. Like, for me, I had Dubois. He was going to smash Joe Joyce to bits in my head. I thought his jab's so strong. He's powerful. I think if Dubois went to the trenches with Joshua, I think it'd be a nightmare for him. But on the flip side, might that bring the best out of Joshua as well? Because he knows the score when it comes to that. He's got no choice but to fire it with him. But yeah, I honestly can't say.
Joshua versus Joyce.
I'd say Joyce.
Joshua versus Wilder.
Again, that's a fence sitter, but I'm just gonna edge towards Joshua, just because I think if he just keeps the distance and just works, yeah, okay.
Joshua versus White.
Oh, Joshua all day.
Yeah, Joshua in a trilogy fight with Usyk.
Usyk again.
Joshua Fury.
Okay.
No
one beats
Fury. There we go.
Yeah, so.
There we go. So put him in with White in the summer, then, is what you're saying?
Well, yeah, but White isn't, again, like I was saying before about the heavyweight division, how it's recycled. Yeah. These guys have opportunities that no other fighters in any other division has. White, yeah, he's been brilliant in the past, but he wasn't his best. Like, Fury did an absolute number on him, and knocked him out cold.
Yeah,
and so, but that would be a great fight for Joshua to come back with.